everybody, it's Jen Bovey from www.jenbovey.com. Shame busting coach here. I wanted to talk to you guys about what happens when we begin to address our shame issues and when we begin to develop shame resilience. So there's a lot of research that's up and coming currently that says that shame creates issues like depression and anxiety and fatigue and chronic fatigue and on and on. And I believe in that 1,000,000%. But what happens when I'm working with clients and they're working on their shame resilience is the depression massively goes down. The anxiety massively goes down. The trauma triggers are somehow turned down a little bit too. The sleep goes up, the self-care goes up, the self-love goes up, the self-esteem goes up. All of these things get better in their life. But that doesn't mean that they never ever experience shame again. Remember that the goal of shame resilience is to not internalize those shame stimuli any longer. It's to recognize it for what it is and then put it over there or not allow it in. Does that make sense? I think sometimes we have these false expectations that once I've developed shame resilience, I'll never ever experience shame again. And won't that be an amazing time? And it'll be magical and on and on and on. Well, all that does is that feeds you and sets you up for failure because that's not reality. Reality is there are going to be things that are going to activate shame within you. That's how you know you're a normal human living, breathing being. So when those shame triggers are tripped, you no longer have to beat yourself up for 7 years over it. You no longer have to feel like the world's biggest piece of crap. You no longer have to go eat the whole refrigerator. You no longer have to self-harm. You no longer have to self-sabotage your relationships. And on and on and on. So I wanted to hop on here really quick from home, sorry about the lighting and stuff, and just remind you guys that the goal is not to never experience shame again, but the goal is to develop more and more shame resilience. And remember, when we have shame resilience, we no longer feel obligated or condemned to absorb and become consumed with that shame. Does that make sense? So I wanted to hop on here really quickly because we just got out of the coaching time in my private Shame Busters group, and I was talking about that, and it was a huge aha for me as well as for others, and I wanted to come on and talk about that. The goal is not to never ever experience shame again. The goal is to not internalize it and not let it crush you, and to be able to navigate through it and move through it quicker and easier and faster and safer and healthier. So that's what happens when people work with me. When people work with me, their lives are changed. When people work with me, they reclaim their power. When people work with me, they find their joy. It's no exaggeration that when people work with me, they get to create the life that they've always secretly desired. So if you want to know more, go to my website, www.jenbovey.com. Otherwise, hop on my mailing list so we can stay in touch. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.